Hi there, everyone. I was going to type out a great big update thing, but no, I just figured I'd do an audio one instead. I just wanted to give you an update on the Dungeons and Dragons bullshittery that was made, what was it, back in May, I think it was? For those not familiar, I made a sort of pre-visualization cartoon with my feeble Photoshop abilities, with the intention being that an artist would take over and properly animate it and replace all of the characters. After doing some research, however, I've discovered a few things. My idea, or rather what I wanted, is very, very expensive. There's a reason why most cartoons on YouTube are like 4 minutes, 3 minutes long. It is an insanely tedious and laborious process that would obviously take a very long time because the video is 25 minutes and yeah, the quotes that I was getting back were quite mental. So, I'm going to have to go with an alternate strategy. I don't want to release the cartoon as it is because it's kind of crap. It's just really, it's really amateurish. So, the solution is cutout animation. And what this basically is as follows. What I've done is I've taken the original stock character, pose as it were, and I've gone into Photoshop and I've basically chopped it up. I've chopped up the character into about 28 individual layers. Their head, their arms, their weapons, their feet, etc. All overlaid in the exact same position relative to the rest of the limbs. So instead of having like 30 images which would have to be replicated, it's just one Photoshop file with a whole load of layers that can just be activated or disabled. What I'm trying to do here is basically create a sort of puppet that I can then drop into Adobe After Effects and move as I need. And so my next task is to basically go through the original video and replace the original PNG files with these moving puppets, where I can control things like mouth movement or blinking, individual gestures, etc. with just a single After Effects timeline. Now granted, that looks incredibly goofy because I can't draw, but it's at this point that I would send the Photoshop file to somebody who can draw. I would commission an artist, and I've got one in mind, he's volunteered to do it, but I still need to talk to him to, talk about the details, who would just go over the layers and draw them properly, so that then all I'd need to do, in theory, would be to just import his decent assets, then just, fix small inconsistencies that might exist, and just like that, the cartoon is done. So the too long didn't read version is, rather than have an animator spend months and months drawing 25 minutes worth of this footage, is to do the animation myself with this sort of cutout puppet type thing, very South Park, whilst an artist draws the assets for me properly. And I'm hoping the results should look pretty good. So that's my plan. That's what I plan to do with the Dungeons and Dragons bullshittery. And yeah, so we'll see how that goes. So on the weekend, I was able to sort of do the first couple of scenes and try and work out how to do this. I managed to make 2 of the 6 characters, the puppets that I mentioned in Photoshop. Through the rest of the week, I was going to do a sort of dry run through the animation and make one of the characters fully animated with this puppet. And then I'd be able to hand over the Photoshop file to that artist so that they would have something to do in the meantime. So that's the plan for this week. Kind of puppeteer one of the 6 characters through the 25 minutes, so I can make the process more efficient for the next 5. So yeah, let's see how it goes.